Hello 4-5A, this is Miss Stewart and I'm going to read to you a chapter from Front Desk. I know this is a little weird because I'm not sitting face to face with you and instead I'm reading to you. But just like we do in class, please make sure you have a pencil and paper so you can doodle and draw as I read. Before I begin, I'd also like to do a really quick recap. Do you remember how in the previous chapter, Mia's mom finally got the courage to ask her sister to borrow some money? And can you believe it? The sister said no. I wonder if she really did have the money, or if she's just making up lies like Mia's mom was. Here we go. Chapter 63. My mother was inconsolable that night. She couldn't believe that her sister would rather buy a fancy penthouse in Beijing than help her own sibling. As she buried her head into the pillow, my father tried his best to comfort her. I can't believe she said no, my mother said to my dad. I can't either. Never in a million years did I think my aunt would say no. Not after my mom told her what we were going through. I guess a lot had changed since we had left. Not just the neighborhood, but the people too. They are probably splitting the bill now. It's okay, my dad said. We tried. You heard what Hank said. It's no skin off our back. It is, my mom cried. It's the skin and the hair and everything. I bit my lip as I listened from the bed. Now we're just going to be employees for the rest of our lives, working for one evil man after another. Not everyone can lead. Some people are destined just to be followers, my dad said. As my father started going on about our fate again, I threw my head back onto the pillows. I didn't believe we were destined to be followers. I didn't believe we were just supposed to stay on the roller coaster forever. I thought about all the people I'd met this year and how we all deserve better. Lupe, Hank, the other weeklies, and all the immigrants. So many wonderful people from so many different parts of the world. If only there was a way we could join together and break free. Wait a minute. Sounds like Mia has a plan. I wonder what it is. What if we didn't need one rich relative? What if what we needed instead was a lot of poor ones? My mom said it herself, everybody could put in a little. Lupe came straight over the next day and we squealed when I told her my plan. Of course! Why didn't we think of this earlier? Mr. Yao desperately wants to sell the motel. We could probably get it for cheap. She grabbed my hand and we ran out the back to find Hank. It was Saturday and Hank was outside his room watering his tomato plant. How much do you think Mr. Yao wants from the motel? We asked him. Hank stopped watering and drew a sharp breath. At least $300,000, I'd say. Why? Did you guys find another rich relative? No, we were all out of those, but we knew a lot of people. Sure, they were all poor, but if everyone put in a little. And it wouldn't be a donation, it'd be an investment. We'd own the motel together. I pulled out my notebook and showed him and Lupe my calculations. Their eyes boggled when they saw the math. This place makes $12,000 a month, Lupe asked. Whew! That's serious money, Hank exclaimed. $144,000 a year, serious to be exact. Hank slapped his leg. That's it! I'm in, he declared. Hank emptied every pocket of every jacket. He dug his fingers into the back of his chairs and checked under his bed for money. He even checked in his shoes. He managed to find a total of $78.56, which wasn't a lot, but it was something. The other weeklies, as soon as they heard, wanted to contribute too. Fred put in $100, Billy Bob put in $200, Miss T contributed $250, but it was Miss Q who put in the most, a whopping $3,000. Hank whistled. You got $3,000 lying around and you're living in this dump, he asked her? Why don't you get an apartment? This isn't a dump, Miss Q said. This is home. Besides, if I lived in an apartment, I'd never meet all of you wonderful people. She gave my shoulder a squeeze. Lupe skipped on home to talk to her parents. She said they had some sort of emergency fund, but wasn't sure how much was in there. As for me, I dug out my essay from the contest. I made copies of the essay and passed it out to every single customer who came in. My plan was simple. Find 600 people to contribute $500 each. That would bring us up to a grand total of $300,000. So far, we had got $3,628 from the weeklies. We still had to get $296,371 to go. A few customers threw my story in the trash, but a surprising number didn't. They responded with genuine interest and curiosity. A few were moved by what I told them about our situation and the kind of year we had been having, and how we got through it by pulling together as a family. They opened up their checkbooks and wrote checks for $500, $700, $1,000, $4,000, $5,000, and even a whopping $8,000. One customer wanted to know my vision for the hotel. His name was Mr. Cooper, and he was a venture capitalist from Los Angeles, passing through on his way down to San Diego. A venture capitalist, Mr. Cooper said, was someone who invested in small companies before they became big companies. Though he could afford to stay anywhere, Mr. Cooper said he liked living frugally, and that's why he would stay at the hotel. Anyone know what the word frugal means? It means to not spend a lot of money, to spend your money wisely. Where do you see yourself in the motel in 5 years, he asked me. Right here, I said, a little confused by his question. He laughed. No, I mean, what kind of things do you expect from the hotel? I thought about it and said, I just want everyone to be happy. Every single customer. He smiled. That's the kind of vision I like to hear. I'd like to be an honored investor, he said. He took out his checkbook and wrote us a check for a jaw-dropping $50,000. As he handed us the enormous check, my mom's hand shook. She'd never seen so many zeros in one place. I'm expecting big things from this place, he said. Big, big things. With Mr. Cooper's check and the other customers' contributions, we still needed about $230,000. So the next day, I went around to all the shops on our street. To my wild surprise, both Mr. Abian from the convenience store and Mr. Bagwat from the dry cleaners wanted to invest. Are you sure? I asked them. Are you kidding? This is our chance to own a piece of land in America, they said. They were tired of sending all their money back to their relatives month after month. For once, they were going to spend on themselves. They gave me $1,000 each. I ran all the way home, clutching the thick stacks of hundreds in my hands. Lupe came over with even more thrilling news. Her parents talked it over and they wanted to invest $10,000, the entirety of their emergency fund. But it's your emergency fund, I said. Are you sure about this? Lupe nodded. They'd never been more sure of anything in their life, she said. As her dad added his chunk to the huge pile of money, Lupe and I grabbed each other's arms and jumped up and down screaming, We're getting off the roller coaster, we're getting off the roller coaster. By the end of the week, we were $85,000 down, $215,000 to go. I took out the big ledger and started writing to old customers. I wrote to Mr. Lewis, the guy who gave me a hard time about the key and wanted all those extra pillows. To my surprise, he wrote me back and sent me a check for $100, along with a gift card to Home Depot for a better key machine. Mr. and Mrs. Miller, the nice couple who gave us the $8 tip, sent $75. They told their friend about it, a guy who made a fortune selling mops on the home shopping channel on TV, and he called us up and wanted to invest. My dad then got on the phone and started calling up some of the immigrants who had stayed at the motel. When the immigrants heard, they wanted to get on the deal too. All of my family, Uncle Ling, Uncle Lee, Uncle Feng, and Uncle Z, each invested $100, $125, $150, and $200. Uncle, who had just gotten a new job parking cars at a parking garage, put in $88, which pleased my parents very much because of the other number. Word got out there that there was a killer investor opportunity, and soon immigrants all up and down the state were coming over to invest. We can't have American dream ourselves. Maybe we can have it together, the immigrants exclaimed. My parents were in awe. They could not get over the fact that this many people, total strangers, could believe in them like that, could look at them and decide, hey, I don't know you, but I believe in you, and I believe in your dream. And then they put that crisp green bill into their tired, blistered hands. One stranger after another, flesh and bones, that looked into their eyes and said yes, when time and time again they looked at themselves and said no. 2 weeks later, an even more amazing thing happened. Hank walked into the front office with a stack of bills. He slid the cash across the front desk, a thick stack of 20s. You found more money, I asked. No, you found more money, he said. I furrowed my eyebrows at him. I don't understand. I got your money back from the SA people, he announced. You what? I couldn't believe my ears. How? I took a page from your book, he said. I wrote them a letter. Uh-oh. What do you think Hank wrote in his letter? I reached over and touched the fresh green bills, my lucky penny money. I never thought I'd see it again. When I explained to them how young you are and how hard you worked for that money, they returned it like that. Hank snapped his fingers. Oh, thank you, Hank, I said. He waved away my thanks like it was nothing, even though what he did meant the world to me. So what are you going to do with it? Hank asked. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it, I said. I'm buying a motel. That's my girl, Hank beamed. I wrote the Vermont people to say thank you for returning the money. That's when I had an idea. Dear Vermont Motel essay organizers, thank you so much for returning my essay fee. Can you do me a huge favor? Can you please kindly help me send the following letter out to all the other people who entered the essay contest but did not win? It would mean a lot to me. Thank you. Mia Tang, letter attached. Dear ma'am or sir, my name is Mia Tang and I am 10 years old, and like you, I also entered the Vermont Motel giveaway essay contest. For the past year, I have been helping my parents manage a motel. We have made it our home. For the towels, we are carefully folded each day and every day to the customers we call family. But you see, the motel is not ours. It belongs to a man named Mr. Yao, who is unkind and unjust and stubborn as a rock. My parents think that working for Mr. Yao is the only way, but I don't think so. At night, I dreamed of a better way. I dreamed of owning a motel one day that was ours. So I entered the Vermont Motel giveaway essay contest. Sadly, though, I did not win. I always knew losing was a possibility. What are the chances of actually winning a motel? But still, it hurts, watching my hopes and dreams disappear. You probably know the feeling. Well, maybe all your hopes and dreams don't have to disappear. I'm writing to you because something has happened here at the motel. Mr. Yao is selling the motel. He's selling it for cheap because he's desperate. We're all chipping in to see if we can buy it from him, and we're looking for investors. If you would like to invest, please let me know. It won't be a donation. You'd be one of the owners, and in the future, whenever a customer comes to stay at the hotel, part of that money would go to you. You might be asking yourself, why should I invest in a motel from a 10-year-old? For 3 reasons. 1, I know what I'm doing. I know every corner of this motel like the back of my hand because I've lived here and worked here for almost a year. 2, I love what I'm doing. I'm very proud of my work. Every day I check people in at the front desk. The customers like me see enclosed feedback cards because I always go the extra mile for them. 3, I won't let you down. I will work hard every day for my dream and yours. So what do you say? If we can't win a motel together, let's buy one. No investment is too small. Even if all you have are some extra pennies and nickels lying around, we'll take them. You'll be amazed what some of them are worth. I look forward to hearing from you. Yours truly, Mia Tang, manager. A few weeks later, the checks started rolling in. The Vermont essay people sent the letter out, and to my absolute amazement, people from all over the country sent in checks for $50, $100, $2,000, and even one for $10,000. By the end of that incredible month, and with everyone else's investments, we had reached $300,000. We cashed the checks at the bank and kept all the cash in a giant trash bag, which my parents held in their arms at all times and slept with at night, just in case any robbers came. Okay, my friends, that's the end of chapter 63. Please take a moment to finish up your doodling and drawing, and please write a sentence about your feelings. I'd now like you to log back onto Google Classroom and finish the assignment that goes along with that chapter reading. Thank you so much.